Is it an addiction?
Is it an addiction? No, I don't think it's an addiction. I think it does put me, it makes me happy. But no, it's not an addiction.
So, for once in my life, let me get what I want. Lord knows.
You're gonna live with me now. Huh? Yeah, I'm gonna take care of you. Because I love you.
Welcome to the fucking show.
Welcome back to Fantasy Football by Committee, powered by Flurry Sports. It can be tough to win a fantasy league on your own, but at FFBC, we will work together to bring home the hardware. Hosted by Zach Bruner and the rest of the Flurry Sports crew, we will give top-level analysis, answer your questions, and, well, go off on other tangents.
That was after I tried to get ChatGPT to admit that 9/11 was an inside job, but it stood firm. It gave quite a few solid points that it was true.
Welcome to Fantasy Football by Committee. The show starts in 3, 2, 1.
That was awful and off time, but we are back. The Fantasy Football by Committee, Week 13 starts Stardom Sit-em with your two mediocre guys that try to help you in Zach McAdoo. I'm Zach McAdoo, I should say. He's Zach Espinosa, and we have coming in just now, Mr. Henry.
I hope we're better than mediocre.
What? What'd you say?
I hope we're better than mediocre.
I don't know. After the last week, I'm kind of hurting.
It was a rough week last week. I ate some humble pie on some advice that I gave.
You weren't the only one. And Henry, you were supposed to be on last week. It's been a while since we've seen you there, bud.
Yeah, I've just been here, there, everywhere, you know. I've been to LA twice. I've been up north. I've been down south. I'm in Alabama right now. It's cool. I'm just a man in motion. What can I say? But I'm so stoked to be able to hop into you guys tonight. So it should be fun. Little change of pace for me.
I think the Gator fan roll tide because fuck Georgia. But a lot of news to get into today. A lot of stuff. 16th in a bye. We talk about Week 8 being bye-mageddon. I think this one should be bye-mageddon even more because, yeah, like I said, 16th in a bye. A lot of teams trying to make that playoff push. I think this is kind of panic mode for some people.
Oh, absolutely. We got the Ravens, the Bills, the Bears, the Raiders, the Vikings, and the Giants all on byes this week. We were hoping for the return of Justin Jefferson with the Vikings. Now we got to wait an extra week. We got fantasy studs like Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams with the Raiders, Lamar Jackson at the Ravens, and the entire Bills offense essentially out this week. So a lot of fantasy managers around their leagues are hurting this week.
Not a great time to be hurting either. We're 2 weeks out from the playoffs in most leagues, so there's going to be some tough decisions for sure. I don't know if I ever remember a year in which the bye weeks were this weird. Is it just me? We had teams going on bye in week 5, and then we had a couple weeks where there were no byes, and now we got week 13. We got byes next week. I know Washington and Arizona at least are on bye next week because I'm going to be missing guys the week before the playoffs, and I'm like, that sucks. But we'll just got to do what we got to do, I guess. Try to manage it.
I don't like the stretch of bye weeks we have because you have we have week 5 byes with Seattle, I think was one of them and whatnot. You have you said week 14. There's no reason for them, and especially when you have teams there was a week 9 that there was no teams in byes. Last week there was no teams in byes. Granted, because of Thanksgiving, they don't want to have a shorter NFL slate on Sunday, but still, there's no reason for this long stretch of bye weeks.
Do you think we would be, as a fan base, up in arms for Week 14 byes if Washington and Arizona were both playoff contenders and they essentially would get a rest before the playoffs?
I I'll take this one first because even when like the Bucks had it like a couple years ago on the, like I was not a fan. Like it's so late in the year. I feel like it's just there's no reason for him to be this late. I think he needed to limit it to like 7 to 12 maybe, and that's it.
I see we have a question, but I want to piggyback on this one more time before getting to that question. Do you think that the NFL schedule committee that makes it, do you think they look at teams' rosters and they think to themselves, Washington, Arizona, they're not going to do any good this season. Let's put their bye week all the way at the end. That way we don't have this conversation later.
I'm pretty sure some people thought Washington might be halfway decent, if I remember correctly. So I mean, I don't know. It's strange for sure. Like, what if those teams were going into the playoffs?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, or the counter argument to that is, what if those teams had a bye earlier and then they would be somehow better? I don't know that would be the case in either circumstance because, I mean, Arizona is not good and Washington's got major issues, but it's just a thought. Like, the Bills could have used their bye 5 weeks ago. That's a team that had to wait a long time, and I feel like that might have changed some things. I don't know. So it's just one of those things where the timing of it can kind of screw some teams over. Maybe it makes or breaks teams, but I mean, fantasy-wise, like, there's nothing we can do about it. We just got to soldier forward.
So to piggyback off that, I don't think it would have mattered if the Bills bye. It probably would have been worse than what it is now because they still had Ken Dorsey at offense coordinator. He's gone now, so I think it gives him more time to input the Joe Brady offense compared to the Ken Dorsey offense. And we have seen a major shift in Josh Allen and the Bills offense since the firing of Ken Dorsey. So, if you go back to last week, Josh Allen was that offense. And minor mistakes by James Cook and Gabe Davis are what are the reason why they lost, but that's beside the point. That's not fantasy. We have a question first. Here we go. Half PPR, Brandon Cooks or Jaden Reed? Espinosa, start us off.
I'm going to go with Brandon Cooks. The Cowboys offense has been explosive. I think they're going to overwhelm Seattle tonight. Seattle has been fumbling as of lately. So I'm going to go Brandon Cooks. What about you, Henry John?
I would probably lean towards Brandon Cooks as well. Like, Dak Prescott is these past few weeks playing at an MVP level. I think, Cooks has been getting it going a little bit. I don't really care for Seattle's defense. I don't really care for Seattle in general. Like, I think this is a game where Dallas could kind of run away with things a little bit tonight. So we'll have to see. But I would go with Brandon Cooks. I'm a Brandon Cooks guy, though, so I might be a little biased. Yeah, I don't think Michael Gallup's getting used at all either. So, like, I know you have a lot of targets there, but the way Prescott's throwing the ball around, like, there have been targets to go around. So,
and I would imagine that Witherspoon and Woolen would take on that matchup of CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup. And Brandon Cooks is the slot receiver guy to be able to beat the coverage and take the top off of the defense, which is huge upside for fantasy.
You know what? I'll put me on an island. I'm on Jaden Reed. I'm high on this guy. He's been a stud the last couple weeks, and I believe, they're playing the Chiefs, but it's at home Sunday night. And
Chiefs defense is good, man.
Yeah, they are, but I still believe in Jaden Reed maybe getting a touchdown. But
That's fair. Jordan Love's on a heater right now. What can I say?
Yeah,
he's on a heater.
He's actually.
I don't know if it'll last, but
he's actually looked decent, and I mean, maybe he's the future of the Packers. It's as much as someone in the chat doesn't like that, but
I can't see the chat. I don't know who it is, but I have a feeling.
Jaden Reed hasn't practiced this week, so
he's got a questionable tag. So
I mean, by default, then it's gonna bank on that. But I think myself and Henry John definitely gave you the flip side of the coin for Brandon Cooks that sways your decision.
Yeah. So I think you alluded to this earlier, but we have a little bit of injuries. You brought up Burrow, which that was last week, though. Justin Jefferson's still out. not coming back this week, I believe. Or no, they're on the bye this week, so he won't be back. And now Jonathan Taylor, he's out for the rest of the fantasy regular season. Might be back week 16. Who knows? But I mean, there's just been so many injuries this year. I feel like more than normal.
And one thing that I want to talk about too, and how this relates to the start sit-em, and I want to pick y'all's brain is last week specifically, I was very hesitant to start Kyren Williams. I didn't think it would be prudent of the Rams to rush him back in and re-aggravate that injury. Royce Freeman was playing just fine. And yet Kyren Williams just went off. I think he was a fantasy stud. I think he was RB1 last week, if I'm not mistaken. Do we feel the same way about like Justin Jefferson returning? Or are they automatic starts, or do we think that teams are going to wean them back on their normal workload?
For me, I would have to lean towards why would you never ever start Justin Jefferson? I mean, sit Justin Jefferson. Like, if he's playing, he has to be in a lineup. I think, there's rumors swirling about Josh Dobbs potentially losing that starting job. Last I heard this week driving around, I think that's a little early to pull the plug, on him. He had a bad game, sure, it happens. So, the quarterback situation there is going to be a concern, but the Vikings need to win games. Like, the NFC is bad, but you want to get as good of a seed as possible, obviously, to try and avoid Philly or San Fran up top. So I'm rolling with Jefferson. I don't think there's going to be any holdback. And I also heard that supposedly he was ready to go last week, but they held him out just to get through the bye, get him an extra week. Like, he was pretty close to being ready or could have played. So I don't think there's going to be any limitations on somebody like him.
So I think it goes back to it depends on the injury, because in some instances it's like, is it a wrist? He's okay to go. Yeah, he's fine. But if it's like a hamstring or something like that could linger, I think then you have to like play by ear and see how he's doing for that week, because he might be on a pitch count that they might have him out there 25% of plays, and then you're screwed if you start him, because 25% of plays, you're not going to get a lot of points in there. So I think if once he comes back, though, I think he is a must start.
So would you guys also say that for some of these teams IRL, like the Vikings that are desperate to make a playoff push, they can't afford to not give him his usual workload or give players their usual workloads coming back from injury? And so from a fantasy standpoint, managers as well should be eager to put them in. They shouldn't hesitate with injuries.
Yeah, he's good for next week. Yeah, I thought he would have been if they would have had a game this week, but I'm sorry, I was reading that.
Well, in case any fantasy managers are asking that or thinking that same thing too, I don't know if we want to move on to the articles. Is this a good point for us to switch over to the articles, or do we want to go into something else fantasy related?
Get to the articles. That's what we're here for.
All righty, guys. So we are going into our start sit-em articles penned by the immaculate leader, Bruner, the man himself. So we are going to start, as always, with our tight ends, my favorite fantasy position. And so in the start column, we got Taysom Hill versus the Lions and Pat Freiermuth versus the Cardinals. What are your guys' thoughts about these? Do you agree with the starts here?
Henry, you want to go first?
I like Freiermuth. He came back, had a big game. I believe in the Steelers' offense much more now than I did with Matt Canada gone. I think a one-game sample size is some proof of that. I know they didn't score much, but talk about yardage. So I think that things are trending up there. Did you say the first one was Taysom Hill?
Yeah.
Versus the Lions.
I like that too. Like I feel like the Saints are getting to a point where they need to do something that is not Derek Carr, like particularly in the red zone when they get there. Derek Carr is just not good at football. So I could see a world where Taysom Hill might be getting you a few extra, rushing and potentially even passing points this week out of that tight end hole, like we saw a couple of years ago there when he was eligible for both for a while before all the platforms changed it. Right now he's tight end eligible, so I'm on board with that. And I don't know what's up with the Lions defense after last week. So you saw Tucker Kraft catch a touchdown too. So that's, I mean, if Derek Carr is going to be in the red zone and can locate anyone, which I don't know about that, but
Eat a dick. I'm gonna make this quick because we have a question that needs to be answered tonight. Freiermuth looked amazing last week against the Browns. The whole Steelers offense as a whole, for some reason. I don't know what, like, Matt Canada sucks. That's all I can say about that. And then again, I hate Taysom Hill as a tight end. He's not a tight end. He's a quarterback that has tight end of eligibility because the Saints are trying to curb the NFL, which is stupid. So if you can put him in tight end, you should actually put him in tight end. But here's the question we had before we get to the sits on tight end. Should you go with Chuba instead of Algier? And for the flex, should I play JSN or Taysom Hill?
I'll take a stab at this first. I think for the flex, I think I do go Taysom Hill. He made me eat my words last week. And a couple of weeks, he's been putting up at least somewhat consistent numbers. That Saints offense is just questionable at best, and Taysom Hill looks to be a benefactor of that confusion. And I think I am going to go Chuba. I believe in Hubbard. There was a reason why he was so good in college, and I'm just waiting for it to happen in the NFL. What are you guys thinking?
I'm on board with both of those. We saw, Chuba Hubbard 5-6 of the last 8 games, if I have that correctly. He's got double-digit rushing attempts. I think that the Frank Reich firing, I don't know if it's going to be the same case as it was with the Raiders letting go of McDaniels, where they really, played hard. The next 2 weeks after that, won some games. They've been playing hard since. Because I don't really believe in Bryce Young, but I think that the change has to light a fire in the locker room somewhat. That Panthers organization is still a mess, but I'm on board with him, and I think I would go Taysom Hill as well. I really think the Saints have to do something there. I love Smith and Jigba, but not a great matchup, and I don't fully trust Seattle when they cannot run the football and they're so one-dimensional. So.
All right, I don't want to stand on a soapbox here because I know we have this whole show to do, but like the fact that Chuba Hubbard is out rushing Miles Sanders is asinine. You paid all this money for Miles Sanders and he's not getting the carries. Yeah, start Chuba because he's more likely to get the split, if that makes sense, compared to Algier over Bijan, and then play Taysom Hill in the flex.
Alrighty.
And then now we have sits.
I was just going to say I could make an argument. I don't know what the matchup looks like. If you're, projected to do well and you just need kind of a safe floor, would that change your thinking on the flex at all? Like go with JSN over Taysom Hill, or do we think Taysom Hill is that safe? Like if you need points out of that spot, it's Hill all day for me. I could maybe make an argument that JSN has a safer floor. I don't know about you guys. But
I think tonight's game is just going to be Dallas dominating. I think it might start off as a defensive chess piece, and then Dallas is just going to pull away.
You're right. Yeah, and I agree with that.
Another one needs to be answered quickly. Geno or Stafford?
Stafford.
Stafford, yeah.
I don't like the matchup with the Cowboys defense this week.
Yeah.
He's dealing with that elbow injury. I don't trust it.
Who do the
We
Rams
actually
play?
missed a question from our good friend Yeet, consistent viewer. I want to give a shout out to Yeet56. Yeet56 on the screen, but number 1 in our hearts.
Mahomes or Dak?
Ooh, I'm actually going to go with Dak Prescott tonight. I do think that Seattle struggles. I think it's a Dallas-dominated game. I think Dallas pulls away with it. Chiefs are playing the Packers on Sunday Night Football this week.
Oh man, that's tough. This Chiefs offense, they just refuse to get right here.
I like the matchup better. I like both quarterbacks. I just think the safer pick is Dak going off tonight.
I might go with Dak as well. I might go with Dak, and it's not like it's a short week or anything for the Cowboys either. Like I know the primetime games have not had much scoring whatsoever this year, but Dallas has had a full week off. I'm going Dak.
You know, I want to rewind to last week when I said I could make a case for Dak when Espinosa said you are starting Mahomes every day of the week. And yet Dak went out there and put up like 40 points. And I was like, son of a bitch, man. Because I knew I was right. But yeah, I still got to go Dak. Something about this Seattle defense. I might have them, but like I just trust the Cowboys offense way too much. Mahomes,
to be fair,
Mahomes has been very shaky so far this year.
Yeah, and that's another point too. I don't want this show to come off as us being unreliable in our assertions. We write because we have to go through this editorial process. But at the end of the day, we can't. What's that meme from that '70s show? Like, God, like, damn it, Jackie, I can't change the weather. We can't change it if Mahomes has been shaky this year or Dak goes off. I just want that to be known as well for the audience.
And Mr. Dano has a extension to what he said. If Dallas pulls away, then Geno will have to keep throwing. Stafford might get eaten by the Browns. Well, I mean, if you go back, Russell Wilson wasn't eaten by the Browns last week.
And I would also like to point out that they are starting Joe Flacco, who will be their 39th starting quarterback since 1999. The Browns defense is the Browns defense,
Do not disrespect Joe Flacco, or I will
don't
leave
get me wrong.
the show.
Joe Flacco's Joe Flacco, but at the end of the day, he's still the new kid on the block. He's still the old veteran having to get in there and meet a new team. I think the Browns defense is the Browns defense, but they're eventually going to have to break to the other team just because Joe Flacco, we don't know what to expect. He's not the same quarterback as DTR, PJ Walker, or Deshaun Watson. And how does that change the offense? I don't know.
Why are they not starting PJ Walker? I know this is off topic. I just don't understand that. But
I mean, it's. I think they try to get that veteran presence in there, and Joe Flacco as a game manager, as opposed to PJ Walker that has the. Yeah, exactly. As Bruner pointed out, Flacco is more mobile, and I think that's what they're trying to go against. They want Flacco to just not lose them games, and PJ Walker can have that improvisation, and sometimes that leads to bad turnovers, forcing the ball, fumbling, or getting injured. They're just looking for the safe X with Joe Flacco.
Put some respect on the 2020 XFL MVP.
Yeah, hey, you're not wrong.
All right,
for 5 games. 5 games.
Pick up. Shut up. We got to get through this. Pick 2. PPR, Puka, Brees, Charbonnet, and Higgins. Even the running backs. I've said this before. I love Brees Hall. They didn't do I'm going to eat my words because they didn't do anything with what I said last week with Brees Hall. They did not run him at all. I think he had 9 carries or something like that. And they let Tim Boyle throw for 30-plus times, which is asinine. I just don't understand it. But I'm stupid. Give me Brees again, and Charbonnet should catch PPRs.
Yeah, I think I go with Brees. I don't like the matchup for Charbonnet versus Dallas tonight. I think I'm going to go Brees and Puka. I really don't know what to expect out of Jake Browning in Cincinnati. Henry?
I hate to do this, but I'm going to be with Espinoza yet again. I will take Brees Hall and Puka Nacua.
No, why do you hate to be with me?
I don't.
Let's talk about that.
I don't trust Seattle's run game. I hate the Jets offense. I mean, who doesn't? That's an absolute shit show. But I think Brees Hall still has the volume. And T. Higgins coming off injury, like it's kind of a case of, all right, working back in. You've got a backup quarterback. So
I'll take back my vote. For us for nominated for best podcast, I'll send them an email.
Shut up! Just vote for us. All right, but this brings up another case that I've talked to my friends. The Jets cannot develop quarterbacks, and this has been the case since Geno was drafted. So you can't put this on Wilson. You can't put it on Darnold. You can't put it on Geno. It's a cycle of dog shit development that has started. That they can't fix. So
Yeah, that's the real topic to talk about this offseason too.
And I think Robert Saleh isn't the guy.
Well,
but
the
that's
other thing,
another day. Those talk for another day. Henry.
am I here now?
Yeah, you were here
Yes.
the whole time.
Oh, okay. The other thing I was just gonna say is like the Jets are playing the Falcons. The Jets are not great against the run defensively, and the Falcons all they want to do is run the football. So that could shorten the game. So if you're looking for a negative,
No, yeah, that's really beautiful.
Yeah, he got cut off, so we'll kind of move on, and when he comes back, we'll come back to him. Need one, DK. I'm gonna guess Rashee Rice or Brandon Cooks.
I'm going to keep it consistent. I'm going to go Brandon Cooks. I like the
Yeah.
matchup against Seattle. I think he's the one that gets loose.
I'm gonna agree with you there, Brandon Cooks. Henry. Oh, there. You go.
And I think he's going to take the middle, and he's going to say Rashee Rice between us.
Is he back or no? Now he's blurry. Wait, he might be able to hear us.
Now, for those who don't know, Henry John is actually on the scene of the crime in Seattle tonight, right, for the game? We sent him there as an industry plant, so you watch tonight for him.
I was gonna say a bad joke, but we'll just move on to the next question. All right, must-win week. Full PPR. Should I start Zach Charbonnet, Deontay Johnson, or Curtis Samuel? I can tell you which one not to start. Deontay Johnson. I don't like the way he didn't dive up to the ball. He's a bench for me this week.
And I wrote an article about this last year about how you fantasy managers should pay attention to what their players are up to IRL, because Deontay Johnson is the epitome of high floor. He gets those targets, but he looks to have fallen out of favor in the locker room for his lack of effort and play, and I think that's just really tanked his stock. Curtis Samuel had a big game last week in Washington. Zach Charbonnet, I don't really like the matchup tonight against the Cowboys. I think you take the lesser of all of the evils and you go Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. So Charbonnet's facing Dallas, obviously. Deontay Johnson is against Arizona. And then Samuel is facing. Why can I not remember? We're off the rails today. Good start.
Hey, we're the best show on the internet, man.
Oh, they're playing Dolphins. So, I mean, yeah, Deontay Johnson playing the Cardinals defense, but I still think they can put the Cardinals defense can shut them down. So yeah, I gotta agree with you. Curtis Samuel, I hated, like last week he still put up 19 points against the Cowboys defense, which I hated because I had him in my lineup and I took him out of my FanDuel or was it DraftKings lineup. I pissed off myself with that. Take Curtis Samuel. Don't make yourself mad. But we have some comments. My wife wants to know if Taylor Swift will be watching the game.
Taylor Swift is actually playing, according to Bruner, and we got the inside scoop. Taylor Swift is playing left guard. Now, I know the audience doesn't know this either, but we are actually NFL script writers. We provide our version of a script each week, and we see if we get selected.
All right, here we go. Flex spot, Metcalf, Brandon Cooks, or Chris Olave. I think both of. I'm not trying to answer for you, but I think I know which direction we're both going to go, and we're going to go Brandon Cooks.
I would like to keep it consistent with Brandon Cooks, but I actually like Chris Olave as of lately.
Oh, you douche.
I know that. Well, the question is though is if he's going to play, because he left the game last week in the third quarter, and I believe he's still in concussion protocol. I don't know if he's been cleared yet. So I think if he's healthy, I take Chris Olave, but I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to go Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, like I said, consistency, Brandon Cooks. All right, now we can find. I think it's been like what 15 minutes since you tried to get back to the stardom sit-em.
Hey, you know what? That's what we're here for. We're here for the audience. Thank you
We're
guys
here
so
for the
much
questions.
for those questions.
Forget the articles. You guys can go read them on your own time, but we have some downtime. We don't have any questions yet, so I think now is a fair time to get back. And I know one of them was Kyle Pitts against I forget who they're playing. The Jets.
Yeah, so in the sit column of our Stardom Sit-em articles on Flurry Sports, we have Kyle Pitts sit versus the Jets and Hunter Henry sit versus the Chargers. And I have to say, I agree with the Hunter Henry. I don't know if I agree with the Kyle Pitts versus the Jets.
So I think this week, and probably most of the weeks leading out to the end of the season, you're going to want to bench a lot of the Patriots players. Unless you have Ramondre, unless Demario Davis, is it Douglas Demario Davis? I don't even remember. Douglas. I keep forgetting which one it is. Unless it's one of them two, you're probably not going to start a Patriot. And I believe, I dropped Hunter Henry this week because I know he's going to be garbage. But Kyle Pitts, it's something that I go back and forth on every week because Arthur Smith sucks so bad. I hate him. I think he's one of 3 coaches I hate, along with Brandon Staley and Kevin O'Connell is in Minnesota, right?
Yeah, for the head coaching?
Yeah. Okay, good. I messed that up with him and Stefanski. I want to make sure I don't mess it up again. Here he is back. Here we go. There.
Live from Dallas.
Oh, I can't do this anymore. Shit.
I don't know what I said. It must have been bad though.
You got cut off for the last word you said was negative, so I don't know where you were at.
Ooh.
But what are your opinions on Kyle Pitts and Hunter Henry both being sits this week?
I agree with both. I don't think Pitts is any good. I don't like Desmond Ridder. I mean, I like Desmond Ridder, but Falcons want to run the ball, and that's all they need to do. You know, that was actually a point I was trying to make before I got cut off, is that Atlanta should be able to run the ball on the Jets, and Atlanta wants to run the ball, and the Jets can't stop the run. So I think that downgrades Atlanta pass catchers. I wasn't saying it for that reason, but and Hunter Henry, like the Patriots, I'm sorry. That's a disgusting outfit right now.
Yeah,
So maybe if Bailey Zappi's in there, like the tight end gets a little bit more involved. I don't know, but I wouldn't trust anything. They can't move the ball.
You were all excited for the Patriots game, and Patriots team this year, and they just took a big fat dookie on the field.
Now I'm on the
Yeah,
computer and I can
Jabril
see the
Peppers
comments.
got
I love that comment.
Which one? The one that just came in with City wide receivers?
That one right there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw this, but
Bijan.
Aiden re-asked his question again.
Yeah, I was getting to it, but I wanted to get to Henry's point first.
Oh, it's my bad.
Must win this week for me. Full PPR. Should I start Zach Charbonnet? Wait a minute. Did we already do this one?
Yes, so Aiden, we had said Curtis Samuel as
But now Henry's
the
back,
safest pick.
Henry's back. Does he want to go Zach Charbonnet for the PPR spots? Does he want to pick Deontay Johnson, the outlier? Or does he want to pick Curtis Samuel be all 3?
I am going to say
Ooh, Aiden, you got some thoughts brewing. That's a good question, Aiden.
you know what? I'll take Deontay Johnson. I'm a believer in Pittsburgh. I'm going to go back to that. We'll stay with the well. I think there's enough targets to go around there.
I mean, me too, but we saw that play of him just completely giving up. His outlook has gone down. I think his stock in the Pittsburgh Steelers locker room has gone down. He certainly used to be that person. I just don't know if it's going to be next week, considering what happened last week.
All right, this guy has like 5 minutes. We got to hurry up. It's Jalen Hurts versus Niners at home. Prescott versus Seahawks at home. Standard scoring, 6 points per T. I like that better. Play Dak, both Lamb. Dak is crazy at home. I take Dak. Don't know why this is a question.
Yeah, Dak Prescott.
Prescott.
Buccaneers defense versus Panthers at home. Jags defense at home versus Bengals on Monday Night Football. Colts defense versus Titans on the road.
Jags defense. The Bengals are in free fall right now. I think they've given up with Jake Browning. They're quietly a hot team. I think I go Jacksonville. Or the other team that I would be happy with is the Colts defense.
I'm the same way, I think.
Even with the coaching change in Carolina, I might go with the Bucs defense. I trust that unit. I think the Bucs are still playing hard. They're still in contention. It's not a scenario where they're fed up with Baker Mayfield like a lot of other teams are just over their QBs, it seems like right now. So I would go with the Bucs. I like the Jags a lot here too, but I could be talked into the Bucs there.
And then Brandon Aubrey, Dustin Hopkins.
Brandon Aubrey.
Yeah. He's too good.
I think Cleveland has a rough week this week with Joe Flacco.
Well, it's not going to be his fault, but yeah.
Well, no, but I think the offense is going to really struggle to find its identity, and I think Dustin Hopkins suffers from that if they can't get into field goal range.
I don't think the Cowboys will have any problem scoring points.
Yeah, not tonight.
All right, now I got to go back to this comment. These are the superior Seahawk jerseys. I don't know what you're on tonight, pal, but these are the best Seahawk jerseys that they wear at the moment.
Flacco may kick too. Yeah, they need somebody to win them some games. I mean, why the hell not?
I mean, they had a kicker on the team already without Hopkins.
Dude, if Flacco kicks the ball, he's the GOAT. No conversation needed. Tom Brady can kiss it. Flacco's the GOAT if Flacco makes a kick this week.
But
shouldn't you be more excited? Like, you literally have a former Super Bowl quarterback coming in, taking over the offense.
I'm jaded, man. I'm just that Browns fan that watches the game with my cigarette. I have coffee as I watch the game, not even beer. That's how jaded I am.
Fair enough.
This has gone off the rails. But when doesn't it on the Fantasy Football Committee shows? All right. Do we want to hurry up and try to do wide receivers quick?
Yeah, okay. So going into our Fantasy Football starting to sit him wide receivers article penned by Bruner himself, the man, the myth, the legend, we got ourselves in the start column this week, DeAndre Hopkins versus the Colts and Courtland Sutton versus Houston. So some surprising picks here. We got a Titans wide receiver and a Broncos wide receiver. How are we feeling about this?
Oh, shit.
It's comfortable. Yeah, crisscross applesauce to be exact.
Hold on. Do you say it like this? Like your legs are like this, or you say it like you cross them like this?
No, I go full crisscross applesauce.
God.
Honestly, in my opinion, that's a
keep
little
the questions
better.
coming, man.
That's a little better than doing the whole cross leg thing.
No, the questions don't even faze me at this point. Keep them coming.
He's gonna keep smoking his cigar, and you.
You know what? Let's get Trevor and I solo a show because you guys think we have the worst takes on everything, and it's just gonna be therapeutic for Trevor and I to get it out there.
The only bad take you had was the Devontae Adams when we told him to sit. That's it. That's the only one.
There'd be one viewer for that show, and it'd be Bruner.
Bruner. That's it. Bruner for your shit takes. That's it.
Hey, the Devontae Adams thing didn't turn out to be quite atrocious as you thought.
No, but you're still not going to sit him. It doesn't matter who's at quarterback. Devontae Adams is too good. You have to start him. Just like
He's
Justin
had
Jefferson.
some duds this week or this year, which is what I was talking about, even in week 2.
Yeah.
Hate to do it.
Hate
to do it.
All right. You guys answer this one. I can't.
Favorite tacos. I judge a place by their bean and cheese tacos. If they can't make good bean and cheese, they can't do anything.
I have to abstain from this one. I'm not really into tacos or Mexican food that much. So,
is that Isaiah Likely? I think it's supposed to be Justin Fields, Isaiah Likely, Aaron Jones for Josh Allen. In a vacuum, I don't know. That's a lot to give up.
I mean, likely is a huge prospect. Aaron Jones is hurt. Justin Fields plays for Chicago. Josh Allen is Josh Allen. I don't hate it.
I mean, I think it boils down to what's the rest of your team look like for me.
I'm too biased.
If you feel like you're really going to be in contention without those pieces, which, like Espinoza said, Aaron Jones hasn't really been a piece this year because he's been hurt so much. Isaiah Likely, I think, is going to be solid down the stretch. But do you trust him week to week? Do you trust Justin Fields week to week? Probably not. So Josh Allen's a quarterback that can win you a fantasy championship. So if you're well-rounded otherwise, I'm not going to say it's a bad trade whatsoever. And it looks like he just posted the team.
Yeah, he said he went from Mahomes, Aaron Jones, Javonte Williams, Zay Flowers, Jay Jettas, DJ Moore, Waller to Josh Allen, Mixon, Swift. Who the hell's ARSB?
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Okay, that makes Jay Jettas, Waddle, and Joku. So,
I mean, the only thing that I really hate is just that Njoku, but I wasn't really a fan of Darren Waller either. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's a bad downgrade.
No,
I don't hate it either.
And yeah. All right, next question.
I would argue it's better.
Yeah.
What's
very
up,
much
y'all?
so.
Y'all, I need big help. Wide receivers, Amon, Debo, Waddle, Pittman, or Tank. RBs, Eckler, White, Devon, Kyron, or Connor.
Ooh. Well, running back.
What's
how many can you pick? 2, 1. We picking 3, 2 at each position, 1 at each position.
I think you got to go Amon, Debo, Pittman, or no. I think Tank is. I think you have to start Tank over them all. I would go Tank, Amon, Debo, Pittman, Waddle, in that order.
Henry John, how do you feel?
Well, Tank Dell's my favorite NFL player ever now, so might be a little biased here, but I don't know how you can't not fire him up. The problem I have is Denver's playing so well, so I think that downgrades him a little bit this week. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a true alpha receiver, so he'd be my first choice among the receivers. Yeah, this team's loaded too. And then we've got Eckler, White. I'm assuming that's Achan, however you say it. Kyron Williams. Give me a minute on the running backs.
I think I'm going to take a stab. For wide receivers, I'm actually going to go Amon, Tank Dell, and Michael Pittman.
If it's 2 wide receivers, I'll take Amon and Jalen Waddle because Washington's defense doesn't stop anybody. For running backs, the 2 I would go with, I'm going to go with Eckler. Not giving up hope there. And I think you have to go with Kyron Williams after what he did last week, right? Like, there's no other way to slice that. So I like Rachaad White, but I don't know how that Bucks-Panthers game is really going to go. Like, if the Panthers are playing inspired defensively after the coaching change, that could impact some things.
I'm going to go with, for running backs, I'm going to go Kyron Williams and Devon Achane.
Give me Kyron and Rachaad White. I'll throw a dart throw out there. Now, here's a comment I've been waiting for.
1,000% yes. Been saying this for 3 years.
In regards to fantasy, though, he gets you those rushing touchdowns. He gets you those rushing yards. So is he overrated for fantasy? No, because as much as he may turn over the ball, he also has that equal upside, if not more. So I don't think he's overrated for fantasy purposes.
Here's my problem with the NFL.
That's a different question.
Here's my problem with the NFL. Fantasy football is taken over, and now we're evaluating how good players are, offensive players specifically, on the stats they put up for fantasy. I don't think we're evaluating actual football.
Podcast episode in and of itself.
Yeah. Is Josh Allen a bad quarterback? Absolutely not. Is he an MVP candidate when he's consistently at or near the top of the league in turnovers? No. So to me, he's overrated. Now, would the Bills be worth anything without Josh Allen? This year, definitely not. Like, they aren't a good team around him. These past couple of years, they probably still would have been solid. So he's lifting them up this year, and they should have won last week. But I do think he's a little overrated.
Great question.
I'll save mine because we're already over time, and I'd probably spend another 40 minutes trying to debate that. But you obviously don't know my answer. There's no way in fuck he's overrated. But Jets defense, Eagles defense.
Jets defense. Eagles 49ers matchup is going to be too unpredictable, two great teams. Jets are playing Atlanta. I could easily see them overwhelming Desmond Ridder or Taylor Heineke.
I can't be the only one who noticed that the 49ers are laying points on the road in that game. So that's interesting to me. I think it's very telling on where the Niners and Eagles might stack up right now. So I would go with the Jets, even though that franchise is in a sad state. But, hey, maybe the whole Aaron Rodgers return to practice thing is going to light a fire under him to try and win a winnable game, because I think the only way he's ever even trying to come back is if they win 2 of the next 3 or something. So,
Absolutely.
So, I mean, we know the Jets defense is very good, and they've held a lot of offenses short of what they should be. So, with this Falcons team that you don't know what you're going to get each week, I think you got to go Jets defense over Eagles defense for more than just the Eagles are playing against the Niners. But, all right, worst pizza we've had. If it's frozen pizza, the worst is like the Totino's fucking party pizza thing that tastes like dog shit.
I don't know about that, but
there's a thing called DiGiorno when you want to have frozen pizza, right? It's pretty good.
No,
Try
the
it
best
sometime.
frozen pizza is actually Jack's to me.
Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut just heats up their pizza. It's not made fresh.
I don't remember where it was, but I was a junior in high school, and there was some class trip down to Washington, D.C. for a weekend. And wherever we had pizza, it tasted like a bar of soap to me. That was the worst pizza I ever had. I can't give you a name because I don't remember the place, and I never want to go back to D.C. again. But that's the worst pizza I've ever had.
Oh, there's too much to know about you to bring up, and I'm not.
I would like to answer Bruner's question before we go. Jock, J-O-K as he's affectionately known, whatchamacallit. I think he's the foundation that the Browns should build around for their linebacking core on defense. He is your new prototypical linebacker. He has the strength to go out there and make those tackles. He has the speed to go cover edge to edge. He's what you're looking for. With that being said, he does have some injury concerns. But I mean, for the most part, who else is there at linebacker for the Browns? Is it going to be Anthony Walker, who is also equally as injury prone? Is it Sione Takitaki? They traded away Mac Wilson. They couldn't keep what's his face, Deion Johnson from the Falcons that they traded for. I think you're kind of stuck to Jock. I think you have to be married to him, considering that he's a young player still on his rookie contract. You try to keep him there. I don't think he's Fred Warner, but I think he can become like a Walmart version of Fred Warner.
And then I think Bruner said this when we're talking about Josh Allen. He's no Sean Clifford. Is this you want Sean Clifford to start for the Packers now? Is that what that is?
Hell yeah, dude.
And I think our last one here, Herbert or Purdy?
I think I'd go Herbert just because Purdy's playing the Eagles this week.
Yeah, Herbert. Although, flip side, Herbert's playing against a team he has he usually gets dominated against the Patriots.
Yeah,
Patriots are the Patriots right now.
I'll go Brock Purdy. The Patriots, the defense is still there. I think maybe with the quarterback change, things are a little bit better. It's a road game. It's in Foxborough. It's out in the cold. I'll go Brock Purdy there. I trust the Niners, even though it is the Eagles this week. I think the Eagles, they're winning all these games, but I think there is a little bit of a Super Bowl loser hangover going on there. So, at least for like the first 55 minutes of games, it seems like.
Yeah, no comment. I don't know. I think I gotta go with Herbert still. I think he can put up points against that Patriots defense, and I don't trust Purdy against the Eagles. I think it's gonna be too tough a matchup. But yeah, I think at least two of us said that Freiermuth is gonna have a big game again. So,
And he's a start in our Start Sid'em article on Flurry Sports.
yeah. No, he's good. So, any final comments out of you two for this episode?
Another banger week, and I look forward to next week. Also, I say it every single week. We always ask to tell us how it goes, and I've yet to see one person follow up on that. Let's change that next week. Whoever watched this week and we gave advice to, I want to know if you won or lost. Henry?
I can ask you guys a question if you want. Why not? So I've got a flex dilemma in a league. I got Jaylen Warren, I got Josh Downs, I got Romeo Dobbs, and I've got Tyler Allgeier's kind of out of this to me. But yeah, it's kind of down to those three, and I would be going Warren here, but help a fellow out.
Jaylen Warren. I think both Pittsburgh running backs are a safe start, especially with all the bye weeks this week, even regardless outside of your topic. I think that's just how strong this Pittsburgh offense is with both of those two now that Matt Canada is gone.
Yeah, I'll go Jaylen Warren too.
Cool.
But
if you ever, I guess other than that, I don't know where I'm headed tomorrow, but it was nice to be on the show with you guys for once.
Nice to have you, Henry.
Yep. That's gonna go for this
you ever
episode.
come check out?
Sorry, go ahead, Henry.
I was just gonna say, if you ever wind up checking out Nucor Steel down in Alabama, it's a big place. That's all I'll say, because I just got out of that maze a little bit ago.
There we go. Get that plug in.
All right, we already missed the Cowboys field goal. Doesn't matter though. So that'll do it for this week. Thanks for watching, and see you next week. Hopefully, if we are canceled by then. So good night.